However, the spring game, if you're thinking about it right here, number one question, what's the point? What is up, everybody? It is Jake back with the MF Film Room. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things EA College Football, hit that red subscribe button, hit the like button, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you like college football content, go subscribe to my other channel, Master Football with Jake Posey. Link is in the description. But enough about all that EA College Football content. Let's go. So guys, we are making content here. It is the holiday season, and we're going through some potential wishes for things that are going to be in the game. And there's a video that actually comes out from Mr. Eric Rayweather. And if you don't know who Mr. Eric Rayweather is, you don't watch EA College Football. Now, he's kind of started off in Madden in the video game space, a lot of sports video games, and he's mostly known for his news. He'll have some insights into the game and this and that. But for the most part, he's mostly known for news and updates. He's one of the best. He's very connected. He is one of those insiders that's going to be sent out to EA to preview some things. Does that mean he gives preferential treatment? Does that mean he doesn't go as critical as you want? Maybe so. That's true. However, he does have an inside ear to what's going on at EA. And I wanted to talk about it because he had a video that's discussing not EA College Football 26, but what's going to be potentially an EA College Football 27. And at the end, I am going to actually rate all of these things myself as to what I am most interested in versus what I'm least interested in. Let's get going. So right here, we have this video that came out just 8 days ago. I'm posting this. It's going to be a couple days from now. It's going to be about 10 days ago from you guys when I post this. But 7 big features to expect in EA College Football 27. I will add an asterisk around that expect there because there is some conversations about logistics and this and that for what's going to be in these potential things. He says expect, but again, I'm going to make sure I put an asterisk around expect there because I think there's a lot of issues with a couple of them. However, a couple of them are freaking awesome. So without further ado, let's get into those 7 right now. So first up is the Road to Glory having not only a shortened or expedited high school experience, but the full high school experience. As all you guys know, the way that it happened first was when EA College Football 25 came out, first game in 11 years. This is going to be massive. They put it in the game. They kind of put I don't want to say bare bones, but not nearly as robust as you would want it to be for that. I think a lot of people said, oh, yeah, well, I don't mind the not having high school in EA College Football 25, or some people wanted it, but it didn't have as many features like that as you would want there. Then it goes to College Football 26, and it has a little bit more of a inclusion of high school, but not the full high school experience. They're talking about adding in the full high school experience here, meaning that they're going to have, you're going to be able to, select your team and be able to go on and have a full season and then go into the playoffs. Now, whether or not this is going to be, something that people really like or not, I think that some people have asked for it. It's a pretty easy add. One of the things I think about this, though, is that this is one of those features where I feel like EA College Football 26, they mostly concentrated on ironing out some details. I know, as an example, the defenses are a little harder to read from the pre-snap adjustments, things like that. But for the most part, they really kind of polished this game, whereas 27, I anticipate there's going to be a couple more features coming out in this game, meaning that they could put a little more effort into the Road to Glory experience. However, I think one of the issues with that, though, a lot of people who've played Road to Glory before, when that used to be you could have it be like a 10-game season, and then the playoffs, 14 games, even if it is only on one side of the ball, you could potentially play both sides of the ball, but even if it is only on one side of the ball, does kind of drag on. Oh, look, I got 5,000 rushing yards in 14 games. I just don't know how much, value it's going to bring, but more importantly, maybe some, but the input, how much time it's going to take to implement in the game, probably because they have the high school experience so far, adding a little bit more robust wouldn't be that big of an issue here. So, number 1, Road to Glory, full high school experience, something that he says to expect in EA College Football 27. And feeding off of that is there's going to potentially be more Road to Glory positions, potentially safety, tight end, pass rusher. Those are the 3 that Eric Rayweather mentioned in that video. And I think that I am actually really passionate about this. I'll say this, I think a lot of people, if I asked and I did a poll right now, what position do people play online? I think that the majority would probably say middle linebacker, some potentially outside linebacker. Then I would say next up is going to be D end, maybe even DT. And then the secondary is going to be third. I know that the least common is probably going to be corner. There are some of you guys out there that actually play corner. I'll let you guys know. You guys are absolute Yaumans. You guys are trailblazers in your own way. Corner is difficult, especially man coverage is tough. I play as a safety in a 3-3-5. I'm kind of in the box. Sometimes I'm deep. I do things like that. It's a little bit more flexible. Sometimes you'll have the hook zone. Sometimes you'll have those purple zones. Sometimes you'll be guarding deep. Sometimes you'll be in man coverage. You kind of have the whole gamut of experience there. I really like that from safety. Also, you get to control whether or not it's a 7-man box versus an 8-man box, and so on and so forth. I like to play safety. I think, though, this is one of the things that they may add. He said to expect it to be in the game, but again, I need to see it before it happens. However, I am really excited about this one for a lot of different reasons, because I think that especially with the safeties, talking about like the hybrid, the coverage specialist, and the run support, I think there's some more expansion of potential abilities that they can discover from having people play these positions more and more. Now, I know that kind of affects, the dynasty settings and things like that, but I really feel like this is something that is going to help the game out, because you're going to experience what it's like to be a safety off ball in man coverage, what it's like to be a pass rusher in a run set, what it's like to be a corner in a carry cover 2, something like that. So I think that I'm actually a little bit more excited about this one. But again, this is one that they were talking about. It was the second thing that he brought up. So I'm like, okay, maybe. But again, that is the number 2 thing they brought up in this video. All right, and this number 3 is massive. This one is absolutely massive. And the reason why is because when you think about this game, I want to say there's 120-ish plus FCS teams, not FBS, FBS Football Bowl subdivision, Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, Boise State, Tulane, talking about, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan. That's the Football Bowl subdivision from Big Ten all the way down to the MAC. That's what that is. FCS. Then you start to get to the football championship subdivision. That's going to be basically, it's almost like D1 AA and D1A. That's what they used to kind of be there. But FCS is going to be your North Dakota States, your Montana States, your Richmonds, your Prairie View A&Ms, your Jackson States, your Gramblings. Those schools right there on the FCS level, Yale, Harvard, Princeton, those sorts of schools. I will let you guys know. He had basically said here, he had kind of quoted here. I'm taking a quote of a quote, so be careful with this one here. But Eric Rayweather in the video said he had some people inside. Basically, I'm guessing here that's EA, said that FCS teams would come sooner rather than later. And I asked, and unfortunately I got an answer I didn't really like. So I asked Grok, and unfortunately I was like, did representatives at EA confirm that there will be FCS schools in EA College Football's future games, quote, sooner rather than later, or something similar? I tried to make it as open as I could. And Grok said, no, representatives at EA did not confirm the FCS Football Championship subdivision schools will be added to the future EA College Football games sooner rather than later, or anything similar. So basically just completely shot down what I was about to say. However, he, looking over here at this quote here being Chris Vanini, he said he noted that while discussions have taken place and some people at EA would love to add HBCUs, Jackson State, Prairie View A&M, Southern University. I love Southern University's jerseys. I'm a big fan of that baby blue and that dark blue and that gold. I love Southern University's jerseys. Mississippi Valley State, Jerry Rice is all alumni. I love that too. I love their jerseys. However, they talked about them, HBCUs, and a Celebration Bowl. Celebration Bowl is the first bowl game. It is a bowl game between HBCUs. I want to say it's between the SoCon and the I don't know the SWAC. I think the SoCon and SWAC. I might be wrong on SoCon, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on SWAC. But anyways, he said it would be very time consuming and potentially expensive, adding perhaps down the line. This is informal interest at best, not a confirmation from EA producers like Daryl Holt or official channels, and lacks any timeline like sooner rather than later. So unfortunately, I'm letting you know, this is what I have as of today. As of today, when I'm filming this is December 9th, 2025. I have no real indication this is going to happen anytime soon, sooner rather than later. Again, sooner rather than later could be in 2029 as opposed to 2049. I don't know what the indication with that is. But as of right now, think about that. 120 plus FCS stadiums that you have to go there and map out. All those adjustments they have. You have to make sure you got all the teams, you have the uniforms. You have the NIL. For them, they only have 60-ish scholarships as opposed to the 85 at the FBS level. There's so many different things you have to work through. And the hell they had to went through just to get EA College Football 25 and do it. They delay the game one full year because they're it's just not ready. I was miserable when that happened. They had to delay the game. Do I think this is going to happen sooner rather than later? I'm leaning towards no. So at number 3, FCS teams, EA said FCS teams would come sooner rather than later. Again, maybe not necessarily EA, maybe there's some rumors, but I think that is an amazing undertaking. And the one thing I worry about is that if that is included in the game, that could potentially mean they took time away from to give them other things in the game they wanted to include. Now, your question might be, okay, well, what are you trying to put in the game? What are we going to do about NIL? Are we actually going to have NIL like points to allocate? What are we going to do there? Those are lots of questions to ask. But I think right now, as of right now, that one is one of the rumors. I don't necessarily expect it, though. You guys get in the comments. Let me know if you guys do. All right, up number 4 is Mascot Mode, and I will let you guys know. Mascot Mode is, from a schematic perspective, like it's pretty easy. I mean, all you really got to do is the way that Mascot Mode worked back in the day is you basically take, it's Boise State's Buster Bronco and this guy. Basically, you have to take the humanoid version. You can't literally take, Bevo from the University of Texas in the actual bull form and have him carry the ball. You can't do that. You have to take kind of their anthropomorphization, if that's even a word, version of the mascot. It has to be in human form. You have to be able to have basic 4 limbs and blah, 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 blah. The Stanford tree, it doesn't really have arms, but they basically just pretended like it was carrying the ball. Blah. There's some believability there. But Mascot Mode was kind of a fun little thing. I'm asking you serious. I'm going to take a poll right now, and you guys tell me right now. If you leave a comment, I'm not trying to say it's required, but if you leave a comment, please let me know whether or not you do or do not, or have ever played Mascot Mode more than twice in your entire life. I mean, and let me ask you another question. Have you ever played it with somebody that wasn't over 18 years old more than twice in your life? It's something that I'm not trying to be disrespectful to those teams, but it's kind of hard to be disrespectful. It's kind of hard to not be disrespectful when you talk about something that's so simple. You never really play it. It does require a little bit more manpower. You've got to do this. You got to do that. However, the fact that EA College Football 27, EA College Football 26, this game that we're currently playing, kind of had a little bit more, it was more of a polished game, as opposed to something where they added a bunch of features. I think that this could come out, like I said, it's probably a big hit with the kids. It's something that could be fun. You could start the tournament mode. You can make lots of YouTube videos. You can have good, funny personalities, make stuff like that. But at Mascot Mode, I'm just not super hung up on it. It is something that sounds like, of the FCS teams, that's going to be a huge undertaking. Mascot Mode sounds like it is something that is going to come back. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I am expecting it to be an EA College Football 27, or at least some sort of announcement on when it's going to be in 28 or 29 or something like that. All right, up next is the spring game. Now, the spring game is a Dynasty Mode update. Now, you guys know me. I love me some Dynasty Mode. I only play Dynasty Mode. There's Road to Glory. Road to Glory has its uses. Sometimes it can be fun. I like to experience it with other people. I like me some Dynasty Mode. I have Dynasty Mode. I have created teams. I like to do things like that. So for the spring game here, in concept, I like it. But I will let you guys know, there's lots of things in college football right now that are there and make the game more fulfilling and potentially could be interesting to have in the game. But I would argue there's a lot of things in college football that are not in EA College Football 26, and adding them is either no gain or a negative gain. As an example, a negative gain for sure. Can you imagine playing EA College Football 27, and they have targeting in the game? And you get targeting, get a penalty, they go to review, you get kicked out of that game and the first half of the next game and whatever. Can you imagine if that was what the game had? That would make the game objectively worse. Now, that is something in the sport that if they added it, it would be a net negative. I feel like the spring game is going to be potentially a neutral add at best. I don't really see the point of it. Let's get into a specific slide here that kind of discusses that. So the spring game, I've got 3 big questions here for in the game. Now, again, you can add lots of things that are in college football into the game. As an example, I think one thing they will eventually do is they have the brand exposure kind of rating for recruiting, specifically breaking that out and having it be maybe like NIL points that you can hand out to people. Maybe it makes it easier. We can guarantee you these sorts of things. Maybe we go back to promises, something to that degree. I don't mind that. That's something that I actually would like them to expand on a little bit more. However, the spring game, if you're thinking about it right here, number one question, what's the point? Like, seriously, right now, if you are, like I said, I'm going to ask you guys to get in the comments a couple on these here, but what is the point of that? Who do you control? Do you control the offense? Do you control the defense? Again, like, is there weight assigned to these things? Though, if it's like the offense beats the defense, does the offense all play an additional 10% points? Do they get an additional 5 points? This, boom, boom, boom. What happens there? Do they all go up dev trade? I don't know. Maybe not all of them. But, like, what do you do there? So, as an example, if I have a backup quarterback, I have him 7th on the depth chart, and I have a starting corner and I'm going with like my twos against my ones on offense and defense, do I just throw picks to my corner to help his dev trait go up while hurting the quarterback that I don't really care about who's 7th on my depth chart? Like, again, it can set up some kind of perverse incentives. It's weird to do that there. Again, with the spring game, one thing that actually my friend was kind of talking about, could they hide dev traits and only have them revealed after the spring game? That's actually kind of a cool thing. I actually think I'm going to come out with a video about spring games and dev traits and what cool things they could do. But I think that right now, that's kind of my first question. There's kind of what's the point? Next question there, how is the team split? So anybody who's ever watched the spring game knows you can't bring an outside team in. Is it the offense versus the defense? Where like if the defense gets a third down stop, it's 4 points. If the offense gets a touchdown, it's 6 points. If the offense gets a field goal, it's 3 points. If the defense gets a stop on 4th down, it's 2 points. Like, what does that kind of look like? Also, do we go like colors? Colors basically means like, is it like, the University of Nebraska, it's the red versus the white? Or, it's the LSU, it's the purple versus the gold. Like, what are we going to do there? And when you do that, is it like the first team offense and the second team defense versus the first team defense and the second team offense? Like, how do you kind of cut that up? I mean, that's kind of a funner thing to discuss there. But like, again, that feeds that back into number one, what's the point? What are we trying to do here? Number three, it's kind of a pondering. It's not really a question I have, but it says basically like the only time to have the spring game, though, it would have to occur during the encouraged transfers window. That step in the offseason. Reason being, having it in the spring game before training would provide little value, and having it after encouraged transfers would make no sense since you are in the preseason. So if you think about that, there's only really 1 week where after training occurs, then you're able to go and you're actually able to encourage transfers. Okay, I've got 90 guys. Maybe I want to test this guy versus that guy. That's kind of one of the positives of having the spring game there. However, that's basically the only time you can really do that. Then with that, you can look down there below. Right now, I understand like in the preseason, I'm pretty sure in the preseason you can't practice. If you can, I don't believe you can, but I haven't got to the I've only done like 6 off seasons, guys, so you guys got to bear with me here. But I don't believe you can actually practice in the preseason. So maybe you can adjust it there. But literally, I mean, you're going to train players, advance the week, encourage transfers, and maybe be able to have a spring game then, and then advance the week, and then it's preseason anyway. So it's like there's not a big window to do that. You don't really want to have them train before the training. So I kind of don't really understand it, but I do have a better idea that's not 100% connected to this, but it's something that I think that can provide the same value that actually has a college football application, and that would be the scrimmage. Now, I'm not the only one that came up with this. Whoever was the first person to come out there, I'll give you guys the points, whatever the points are. I mean, I don't know if this is legally binding or not, but I'm basically saying that, like, I don't know if it's just generic intellectual property. It's in the zeitgeist. I don't know, but I do know that somebody else said it first. I forgot where I saw it. I'm basically putting it here. You guys let me know if you guys think about the during the season, or maybe even end of the season, or maybe even preseason, or maybe even off season. Again, having the ability to have a full on scrimmage would be absolutely massive. So free practice cannot have penalties. So if you've ever free practiced before, you guys know that practicing RPOs has a giant asterisk around it. You do not know if your guy is downfield or not if you go to practice. So the big issue with that, though, is that you don't know, like, you actually have to literally run an RPO, pause it, go to instant replay, fast forward until your quarterback just releases the ball, and then go and look at the offensive lineman. Oh, that guy's 4 yards downfield, boom, penalty. But you don't know that because it doesn't happen in the free practice setting. That's something that you need to address there. Also, you need to be able to practice what you do work on, for new offenses and defenses in real life situations. So, like, hey, I need to get some 3rd and 11 plays. Right now, unfortunately, the defense, the AI isn't adjusted to play for 3rd and 10. They're just adjusted to play. We're starting at the 30-yard line. They're close to scoring. And the offense, same situation there. So if you simulate, defense, where you're playing on defense, your offense doesn't know, is it 3rd and 1 or is it 3rd and 30? They don't really understand how to differentiate between those things. Having the ability to have that scrimmage, maybe if you can set it up like, well, I just want to scrimmage offense. I just want to scrimmage defense. I just want to scrimmage my first team offense versus my second team defense. I want to scrimmage my second team defense versus my first team offense. You could do sort of things like that. I think that would be exponentially easier to put in the game. Almost put it like a, super sim situation where I just want to play these certain situations. I just want to do this. I just want to do that. And you kind of just walk through it that way. I feel like that would be way, way more beneficial than a spring game. Again, that's just me. You guys get in the comments and let me know what you guys think. All right, and up next is number 6, which is the stadium creator. And you guys know I'm biased towards Dynasty. I would be thrilled for a stadium creator for multiple reasons. One thing, and Eric Rayweather mentioned this in his video where he was basically talking, he was like, hey, dude, so if they add this, one of the cool things, obviously there's plenty of negatives and there's this and that. People can, yell at EA all they want to. First of all, if you're watching this video and you want to blame EA, like, I know you play the game. So listen, I think that you still need to hold people to account. But one of the things that really grosses me out, maybe not grosses out is the correct term, but really kind of makes me roll my eyes, is all the people that use this app as an opportunity to get in my comments and yell at EA. Listen, I know they're not perfect. I'm not thrilled about them selling to the Saudis and this and that and all those private equities. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Hopefully things stay the same in terms of EA College Football's control of the game. I hope that things actually do probably change for Madden and those other entities out there. EA College Football's done a really good job, in my opinion. But one of the things about this relationship between these two is the fact that they will share ideas with each other, wear and tear, this and that. One of the things I know is that when Madden or when EA College Football gets a stadium creator, the other side at some point, either 1 year or the next year or 2 years or something like that, is going to use it. And I know that it's not necessarily, Madden, but there are plenty of sports games out there that already kind of have this, and it's been mentioned before. I think this will be a big addition to the team builder system, because other systems and other companies and other games have already kind of done this. So I checked to see if Madden actually already had it, and they don't. So they actually have their own team builder version, but they have the basic ability to set up, like, I want a deluxe sphere, I want a futuristic deluxe, I want a traditional deluxe, basically just the same stadiums that they have right now. It's not really different right there at that point. And if you come over here to MLB The Show actually has a stadium creator system. Now, the issue with the stadium creator system, from what you see, is that they've said that there's some bugs. It's difficult. You got to create the backdrop. You got to do lots of different things here. What does night lighting look like this? What's the backdrop? The backdrop is actually really cool. But again, there's lots of things you have to kind of go through here. They've got these guys have the template stadiums for MLB The Show 23. So other systems have done this before. I actually think that this one right here, this shows you that there's different, how do you want the bleachers, the stands, the this, the that. You can actually go into a lot of different detail there. So it's not impossible. And again, 26, this is where I'm crossing my fingers a bit here. 26 didn't have as many features out there. It was more of a polished game. Hopefully they add it to 27, because as of right now, they have some customization, but not very much in Team Builder. I mean, right now, when you think about the surface, so if you think about with the stadium, so you have your stadium. I chose my generic one stadium. I called it the Crusader practice field because it's kind of small. Then you can adjust your crowd, your surface, your logos, your end zones, your numbers, your sidelines. That you can do a lot there. Having the ability to adjust what do the end zones look like, from like, is it a block? Is it just two sides? Is it a horseshoe? Is it a full bowl? Is it a double bowl? They actually had a lot of these versions out there, and I think the fact that they're mostly done with the EA College Football 136 teams right now. There's some adjustments here and there. They're gonna wait for they actually were able to take the renderings of some of the stadiums that aren't finished yet, put them in the game. So I think that they have the ability to do this. Again, and they missed 26. They missed 25. I was really looking forward to 25. But I'm hoping that they have it here. This is the one that where, like, the FCS teams, I'm not holding my breath. I am holding my breath on the stadium creator. And last but not least, we have here the brand new equipment is the last thing that he mentioned there. So the brand new equipment. Now, I'll let you guys know, I'm not super high on the brand new equipment. I'm higher on the brand new equipment than I am on Mascot Mode. But I think that the brand new equipment is something that sounds pretty cool. They're talking about, like, having mouthpieces attached to the helmets, turtlenecks, only one leg sleeves, multiple bands on a single arm, and not just one, band on one arm, something like that. For the mouthpieces, and I'll let you guys know, and I don't understand this, and I might be not that cool, but this is the look that a lot of people are doing now. So on the right there, you can see that this guy in the NFL, he's got two different mouth guards there. And for some reason, you're supposed to have them. You're supposed to connect them. And you're supposed to not put them in. So you have multiple mouth guards there. And again, I don't know what it's for. It might be for something that's kind of cool. I also saw this one, which is amazing. So that right there, that's the future of college football. It's almost going to be like, the Predator. When the Predator rips somebody's spine out and he keeps it as a trophy, that's what this is right here. I got 18 mouth guards, man. But I don't understand it. But it is something that a lot of people have asked in the game. A lot of, especially defensive backs and receivers, some sort of like a swag perspective. Again, I'm not that swaggy. I don't understand it, but having the two and not putting them in is kind of a look, and a lot of people want that in the game. I don't mind that at all. I think it's kind of silly. All right, so my excitement rankings here, the things I'm looking forward to the most. At 7 there, unfortunately, it's Mascot Mode. I just don't care. Sorry, it is what it is. Number 6 is brand new equipment, mouthpieces attached to helmets, turtlenecks, only one slate. I mean, again, I think some of it's kind of cool. Talking about the full high school experience of Road to Glory, I think is a little more cool because then it's going to give you like a little more of a story here and there. Also, the spring game, I'm going to put it at 4. I actually am just not that big on it because I kind of don't really see the point. But again, I am a Dynasty guy. If it has something that there's some benefit that's not too overpowered, I might be interested in it. Next up is the FCS teams. I'm interested in it, but I'm also pretty realistic that I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Then up next is the more Road to Glory positions, potentially safety, tight end, and pass rusher. The reason why is because I think that it could potentially help out. Not that I think that the devs don't know the ramifications of how to play safety or how to play tight end or how to play pass rusher, but because they've concentrated so much on the other positions, I'm not sure if those positions, safety, tight end, and pass rusher, have gotten the love that they deserve. There's a lot of value to those positions. So again, that's the only reason why I'm kind of interested in doing that, because I think that on the front end, I'm not really interested in playing safety actually playing safety at Road to Glory might be kind of cool. But the cooler thing is now more people are going to be playing safety. Now more people are going to be playing tight end. Now more people are going to be playing pass rusher. I actually am more interested in that than I am, just the sake of it being in the game. But the number one is Stadium Creator. The fact that they're talking about it, I'm really excited. I'm super jacked about it. Again, I want it to happen. Like I said, number 3 is cool. I don't think number 3 is going to happen. Number 1, I am kind of getting my hopes up. All right, guys, you stuck to the end here. Again, get in the comments. What are you guys most excited about? I'm most excited about Stadium Creator. And again, I'm sorry to be disrespectful to the Mascot Mode people. If you're out there, hey, shout it out. Stand proud, and I'll stand with you even if I don't agree. It's one of those things where I don't agree with what you say, but I'll die for your right to say it. Blah blah blah. If you're the Mascot Modes out there, are you guys a double mouthpiece kind of guy? Again, I don't know. You guys get in the comments and let me know what you guys are most excited about potentially being in EA College Football 26. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I really appreciate it. It's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.